Well, it appears that our fearless leader, Neil the Dickhead McFarland, is coming up for review, and for unknown reasons, they're making it public. Probably because they're so secretive, and everybody knows they're so secretive. They have to pretend they're not going to be secretive. So he's going to come up for a review, and those of us who've interacted with the Trimet management before and after McFarland's appearance, and I was an employee before and I was an employee during, saw the drastic change in the way things were handled as soon as he took over. I don't see how any employee can support any kind of positive feedback from McFarland. Now, we know the board exists solely to support the general manager. They're not going to do anything that's going to make him look bad. That's not their job, is to support him. And we've seen it over and over and over. We're not going to get anything objective from this board. But let's listen to Warner, the head sock puppet.
Take one moment, if the board will allow me. I think, as this board knows, our general manager's contract began in July of 2010 with a 4-year term, and I just want to make sure you and anybody in the audience or anybody viewing this understands that term's about up. I also wanted to report that we're beginning a process to review the general manager's performance over the past year and also take a look at the future and moving forward. What I really want to make clear is both the board and the general manager are committed to making this a very public and open and transparent process, but also one that's thoughtful, thorough, and professional. One important element of the process is for the board to better understand the market. I think we want to make sure we know where we are and salaries. And for that, we also have hired an independent consultant, Milliman and Associates, to provide.
All right, this is a total abomination. There is plenty of market research available. Transit Intelligence comes to mind, which is subscribed by every single major transit professional in the country. Transit Intelligence has done a market survey. I've posted it to my blog, and it shows that Trimet is above average. Now, any thinking human being understands the only reason they're having this so-called bullshit market survey is so that they can figure out a way to get more money to these executives. Now, we've seen over and over how these executives are greed hounds and will stop at nothing to get more money. And here's another example of that. In order for them to try to figure out a way to funnel more money to their cronies, and I'm talking the board's crony is McFarland, and McFarland's crony are his pals that all make up the executive ranks, they're going to have to come up with some more justification, just saying I'm giving myself a raise. And since they don't want to use any of the market research out there because it doesn't support them, they're going to pay somebody to come up with the information that they need. And they did this in the example of when they evaluated the public records process. They hired somebody to do it. They came back and said, "Yeah, everything is great. Oh, but by the way, we didn't interview anybody who actually used public records." This is just another example of this phony bullshit. Trimet has unlimited funds to hire consultants to come up with studies that will support whatever they want. And this is the crux of why I really have contempt for the Trimet board and the Trimet management, is because while they're strangling me and other retirees, they can't stop enriching themselves. They are so addicted to wealth and money that they have lost all sense of morality. They'll do anything to get more money. And that's the only reason they're hiring this consultant, is so that they can figure out some way to justify more raises for that hack McFarland and all of his hacks that are sitting in the offices. And even though this blog doesn't get anywhere near the play that the Trimet.org site does, or Joe Rose, we know what's going on here. It's a scam. It's a sham. The board should be impeached, and McFarland should be sent out on a rail. McFarland should be tarred and feathered.
Us a market analysis. And to ensure timely and thorough review, I'm asking, I think as you know, the Finance and Audit Committee to take the responsibility to coordinate all of the activities of this review and contract process with the committee and also with the rest of the board. So we're going to have some discussions on that. And this process is just in the early stages and is likely to go into the summer due to board schedules for actually getting this to the board and for a public discussion. A key part of this process will be to provide you and the public with regular updates on the process. So I wanted to give this update just to let you know where we are. With that, I think I would just say, are there any questions or concerns? I think you're aware of the general process, but there's much more to come, and we'll try to keep everybody involved and get everybody's input as we move forward.
You know, I spent a lot of time on this material, and I've been trying to spend less and less time on it and move away from keeping such tabs on Trimet activities, because I have other things I want to do, and nobody else is particularly interested in this except me and a hardcore group of maybe 30 people that are actually interested in this topic. And so out of the entire population of Portland, you know, we have maybe 30 people that actually care. So it's kind of discouraging for me to actually continue this, because I've spent a lot of time with this, and even though I think we have all the facts, we get nowhere. But let's take a quick review of the accomplishments of McFarland. I mean, just off the top of my head, I don't have time to go research all this stuff, but let's review some of the things that he's done. His staff was fined by a federal judge for withholding information. Okay, that's under his watch. The Oregonian published a scathing editorial about how Trimet secrecy has to be stopped when Joe Rose tried to find out about the hours of service, and how Trimet delayed that, skewed it, and did everything in their power to stop it from happening. The secret raises, okay, those secret raises, that's the number one immoral, deceitful thing he's done. The secret raises. He cut service, he raised fare, but he hit himself a raise. The Opal debacle, where Opal asked for a 3-hour transfer, and then Trimet strung him out for a year, and then when Opal actually made a Title VI complaint, they now held it hostage. These are just things off the top of my head. I mean, service reliability has been worse than ever since McFarland has taken over. The system is in a shambles, basically. I listened to it. They don't talk about it at all, but we hear it, okay? They have a way of doctoring. There's really nothing that you can point to for McFarland in terms of an accomplishment. Now, that board is going to say, oh, he's been working under hard conditions because he's taking on the union. Oh, and that's the other thing. Let's not forget the number one crime he's committed against his employees. He brought his anti-union battle into the public domain, and he made it about the drivers versus the riders. His number one shitty, awful thing that he's done is he poisoned the work atmosphere for the employees. So there's no positives at all that I can see for McFarland. Zero. Nothing. But here they are trying to find a way to get him a raise. And I guarantee you they're going to come back with a glowing reviews. This whole Trimet board thing makes my blood boil, because the hypocrisy of all of this is unbelievable. You know, the hypocrisy of these people is so profound. It's worse than the right-wing Republicans in the Senate. Really, it's the same. Okay, when you're looking at these Republicans holding the whole country hostage, you're seeing the exact same thing here with these Trimet board members holding the entire public hostage while they hijack the goddamn system.